Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogan Monster here, and welcome to WTF Live. It is Tuesday night. We have LA Swamp Ape, Carl Gotro here tonight with us. I hope everybody's having a great night and a great week. I mean, I know it just started, but uh, yeah, let's just bring Carl on right away. Carl, what's up, buddy?
Oh, nothing. How's it going, man?
It's going
Just,
good. Thanks for joining us.
oh, you're welcome. I've
So
been
yeah,
wanting
I was saying earlier how you seem to be the flavor of the week.
to.
I've seen you on like three or four different shows already.
I know, huh?
I didn't know you were on Hidden Existence until I popped and until I actually tuned in, and I was like, "Well, hell, what the hell are we going to talk about?"
Yeah, hey, man, it's a never-ending merry-go-round. I mean, whatever you want to talk about, that's good with me. I mean,
I'm
'cause
I'm kind of curious is how did it all start for you? I don't remember the genesis story of this, like how it you got into this Bigfoot or you into Bigfoot or realized there were things around your house, you know?
well, it really got started in excuse me, June of 2018. And me and Rachel had went to the pet store. We have those two big German shepherds, and we bought 250 pounds of dog food. And when we got home, evidently she must have put one of the bags in the little container, and it's a little Rubbermaid container. It has a snap lid. It flips up.
Sure.
You get the dog and you close it. It latches back. So that was on a Saturday. I came home Monday after work and she asked me, "Can you go feed the dogs?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So I go out there and there's no dog food, just a couple of pieces left. So I poked my head back in the door. I said, "Rachel, where's the other bag of dog food?" She said, "Well, I poured it, in the container Saturday." I was like, "Well, there's nothing left." I said, "You sure you poured the dog food in the container? You didn't put it up?" So we looked and couldn't find it. It was gone.
Huh.
So we had 50 pounds of dog food go missing in 2 days. And I know my dogs. At the time, my little shepherd, which I say she's little, but she weighs 82 pounds. She's a normal size shepherd, but compared to the big one, she looks small. So those two dogs, no way in hell they eat 50 pounds of dog food
Oh
in two
no! I
days.
mean, I have a 50-pound bag sitting in my kitchen. I mean, I have
Yeah.
two dogs. One's a shepherd, and that thing lasts me for like weeks. You know?
So look, we just blew it off. Well, tomorrow we're gonna have to go get, or that night we had to actually go run back to the pet store, get another 50 pound, bag of food, and we just blew it off. Didn't really think anything of it. Well, December 4th that year, 2018, I come home, same thing, go outside, feed the dogs. I'm just messing around. It gets dark early here, about 5:15, 5:20, and I'm throwing the rope with them. It's right before dark. And, I noticed that they wouldn't come right towards me like they normally do, right in front of me. They would come around me. So I didn't really think anything of it. I just was throwing the rope with them. We were just playing. And one of them dropped the rope, and I just happened to look down. That's when I found that big 17-inch footprint on the cement.
Did you have a fence around the yard at the time?
Yes, yes.
The same fence? I mean, I
Well, no, it's not the same fence. We replaced it a couple of months ago, but I mean it was the same height.
but
The boards are,
style and
yeah, the
okay.
boards are 6 foot and the 2 inches off the ground. So if anybody stands up against that fence, to be at the top, you have to be 6 foot too. So, and we, I looked at the footprint. I was like, that's a huge footprint. And look, Bigfoot didn't even cross my mind because I wasn't even into that. And so I started looking at it more and more. I was like, I know it's not my foot. I know it's not my son's foot. No, it's not my daughter's. No, it's not my wife's. So who in the hell was in my backyard? and it looked like they had stepped in oil. It was a real greasy print. And I thought about it for a few days, took a few pictures of, didn't think to measure it, didn't, because that's how dumb I was at the time. I didn't think, well, here's a footprint, and you take a tape measure and you measure it. But it did have a dog bone, which is 6 inches long, and kind of put it in the middle of the footprint. So that kind of gave me a gauge about how big it is. And I don't think it was a outsider, like a normal person jumping in, because my dogs would have ripped them to shreds. I mean, they don't like people in my backyard unless I'm with them.
Sure.
If you're with me, you're okay. But if somebody just jumps in my backyard, I mean, all hell's gonna break loose, because they're very protective. So I saw it, kept looking at the picture, went on YouTube, started looking at some videos, and I came across Carrie Arnold's, Bigfoot Odyssey, started watching that. As he gave his phone number or something. Some way I got his phone number. And I sent him the pictures. I said, hey, what do you think about this? And he automatically came back and said, I think that's a skunk ape track. I was like, what in the hell is a skunk ape? Because I didn't know at the time, there were several names for him. And I thought Bigfoot, like everybody else, lived in California, if it did exist at all.
Sure.
I told somebody this the other day. I said, 3 years ago, you'd have had to convince me that these things are real. Now, you'd have to convince me that they're not real. After, everything we had go on, and plus me seeing one. I mean, people always ask me, what did it look like? And I'm not even going to call it a Sasquatch. I'm going to say I saw a 7-foot hairy caveman running. Okay. That's what I saw. I mean, you can give it any title you want. That's basically what I saw.
Wow. Huh. Yeah, I wasn't, because I was trying to figure out, I had heard part of the story, but I didn't know if the fence was new, and it had to have jumped the fence to get in the yard.
Yeah. Well, in the way the night that happened, I think it came in the yard and left the footprint, and it could have been taking dog food. Mm-hmm. Looking back on it, I really think we've been living in this house for about 21 years. I think this has been going on ever since we've been here. We just didn't know the signs. We always found dead possums, dead squirrels in our backyard, and we just figured the dogs killed them. Until I found that footprint. We started looking, and then we started kind of backtracking.
Now, were these like the possum and the squirrel? Were they left in random places, or were they on your doorstep?
No, they were actually,
because dogs will do that. They'll leave.
Right. And that's exactly
a gift.
That's exactly what we thought. Hey, Rachel's like, oh my God, they could have gotten bit, or they're gonna stink because they, a dog and a dead animal is like a play toy. They'll roll around in it. Well, I went check. They didn't have any bite marks, anything on them that I could see, any scratches, anything. So I looked at the possums, picked at the possum because I had to throw them away, and they didn't even have any trauma on them whatsoever. I mean, no blood loss, no bite marks.
You couldn't tell how they were killed.
No, I mean, it's almost like I say, they almost look like they fell out of the tree and just had a heart attack and died. And we found all the dead animals in the same place within a 2 or 3 foot area.
Okay. So, So it was a designated spot.
Right. We didn't know what the hell was going on, And that's when Carrie suggested, hey, if you really want to know what's going on, put up a nanny cam, because it's cheap, it's easy to do. And that's when it seemed like it started to escalate. They started throwing rocks, grunting, hitting I don't know what they're hitting, our shed or our tree or whatever, It just looks like it agitates him. And every
The
time we make a
camera does.
change, and I told somebody the other day, I think these damn things have like a photographic memory. Because like if we change
Maybe.
something, just I'm talking about moving a dog kennel 2 feet, or trimming the trees, the branches in our trees.
Yeah,
They start throwing rocks and shit at us. I mean, like, what the hell?
but they pay attention to those little things. Like you walk into the woods, they know every branch, blade of
Well,
grass, whatever. You put a
and
game camera up, they know it's there. It's
yep. And I think, speaking of cameras, I think we do get the pictures we get because the camera we have does have infrared on it, but I turn it off. So it goes into what they call a night mode, where the iris just opens up bigger
sure.
and lets more light in.
And you have the Nest Cam, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
now we do. We were just
Yeah.
operating with the little net, and we did catch some interesting things on that.
No, I
I
remember
mean,
that camera.
yeah. But to upgrade, we get a little bit better quality camera.
But everything that you can do with it is friggin' amazing, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
you can click on certain parts of it and zoom in, and
Yep.
I watched you play with it the other day, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's like I want one.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad idea. You can set up parameters. I can watch this area. And for certain movement and stuff. And
Yeah, that was the other thing. I forgot about that. That
hmm
you could cordon off
right,
one area, and if something moved in that area, it would trigger it.
right. Yeah.
That's
You
cool.
get your
That's
you get
really
your
cool.
you get your normal little blip, then you can set your perimeter, and then you get another little small blip that actually something like if you just hear a noise, it'll let you know that you heard a noise, number one, and second of all, where it came from, because the blip will be green, and it came from that area. So that eliminates kind of half of the yard.
Sure. I just got a notification. I got to send a link out. You can keep talking, dude. I'm gonna type this soon.
No, I mean, it's a handy tool. I mean, even if you don't have anything like this going on at your house, I mean, you can do a lot with it, and it records. You can make clips and go back and the night before, and then that's I think one thing people don't realize. This is tedious work, man. You have to sit there and watch second by second by second, because we caught a lot of stuff that didn't have every time you have a little event, it makes like a little blip, and in between those blips something might happen and the camera might not pick it up, so you almost have to go by frame by frame by frame by frame, and it's time consuming.
Real quick, hey, Carrie, I sent that to the Bigfoot Odyssey email. I sent it earlier, and I just sent it again. Sorry, dude.
I saw. Go ahead.
So I got to take a quick moment. And I was I was in such a hurry to get on that I was kind of rude to my chat, and I didn't even say hi to anybody.
Okay.
So, guys, please forgive me. um, just want to start shouting out to people. Ruger, what's up? Cajun,
Okay.
Jules, how you doing, Jules? Do you have your chat on that side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Cashew, what's up? There's so many in here. I just wanted to say I didn't mean to like blow you guys off. Normally, when I first jump on, I like say hi to everybody. And Stephanie Perez, Mark, Sawdust Beast. I'm so glad that you guys could come. Wait, carried something just went off. Where's my phone? Jamie Cotterill, what's up? I'm so glad you guys are here. I look forward to these Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Just hang out with you guys, and luckily, every once in a while we can get a guest on. Lately, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
This Thursday, I don't have a guest lined up. It's Christmas Eve, so I think I'm just gonna come and see whoever wants to come on and hang out. You know, put some music on, whatever. I don't care if it's Christmas carols. Just BS and hang out on Christmas Eve. I know it's a rough time of year this year. This is a weird Christmas, and anybody wants to hang out, I'm here. Because I even think I'm supposed to be working Christmas, but I'll be here Christmas Eve, and I think it'll be cool. So, what? Somebody mentioned to me and wanted me to ask you: have you looked into scanner apps, meaning police scanner apps?
No.
Local, do that. Because
Okay.
there are some out there where you can get your local police department or sheriff's department, or county officers or whatever. You can pick up their scanners, so you know what's going on.
Right.
Some of the agencies, law enforcement agencies, are going with a different system, so they won't be using those scanners. But there still are a lot out there that do. So maybe you can find your local. This way, you can know what's going on. You can hear the
Yeah.
police calls. That'd be cool.
Right.
Because I
Yeah.
looked into it real quick, and I said, is that a thing? And yeah,
Yeah.
there are some scanner apps out there.
Well, yeah, I know back in the day, I mean, people used to buy them and for that reason, just to listen
Yeah,
to them and.
you had to buy the crystals and install the crystals that were
Hmm.
programmed for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, my dad was a cop, so you
Okay.
know,
Well,
you know.
if your dad was a cop, let me ask you this. I thought anytime a police officer fired their weapon, they had to file a report.
Yeah, more than likely, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I thought that was a law, but I wasn't sure if it was still in effect, but
Um, yeah. I mean, I think that rule has been around for as long as there have been cops. If you fire
yeah,
your weapon, you better answer for it. You
right.
know,
Yeah.
you got to count for every bullet.
Hmm. Right. Yeah. You should. I mean, if you're shooting at something, I mean,
Especially these days. But that just makes you wonder. I mean, maybe did the cop do the shooting, or you don't know.
yeah.
I mean,
Right now we're still in the process of piecing this all together. I mean, all I
well,
have.
it almost sounds like a manhunt.
Yes.
The way you said, I didn't know how many cops were involved, but you said there were a whole bunch of other cops on the other side, and then this one
Yeah.
came in from this side. So yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. I
Well,
mean, do you know if there were dogs involved or anything? I mean,
no, not dogs.
okay,
Helicopter.
okay,
Like we heard that helicopter flying around like at much later, like at 1:30 in at night. But and nothing on the news, no report. We can't get anything on anybody. In fact, Rachel
yeah,
asked today.
that's weird.
Yeah, they even say they didn't get a 911 report or call, which Rachel called. We had a phone log, and when she called, the lady on the phone told her, "Oh yeah, okay, somebody else reported it too."
All right, give
Now
me.
there's
Go
no
ahead.
report, no call,
That's not right.
no.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna pop Carrie on here. Carrie, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you
Hey,
doing?
Aaron.
Appreciate you sending the link. It's what Carl was talking about earlier. When he called me, I was at work. It was in the afternoon. I just got off. I came in, and I get calls, so I answer my phone, and I saw it said Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or Lafayette. That's what it said,
Yeah.
Lafayette. And he showed me a picture of this footprint, and the reason I said Skunk Ape was because of the heel. What I had seen, and the only place I'd ever seen it, it had that little hook at the end. For whatever reason, that's there. That's why I said skunk.
Uh oh. I think I did that by accident. I don't know how. I
That's
thought I
okay.
was typing in chat.
That's all right. But that's the reason that I said that is because of that little hook, and it was almost obvious to me what was going on. I mean, that's the reason Lynn and I drove down there and did the whole show, was because of that. And the fence in the backyard, when you see the video that he has of whatever that has an apex to its head peeking up over, and you see this much of it, I had to tiptoe to look over. And Russell, I'm like about an inch taller than you. You'd have to tiptoe to get over it. Because I know you're what, about 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'3".
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's not something short doing that. So that's
No,
either
not at all.
you're talking about 6'2", it's at least 6'8" to the top of the apex. And it probably didn't stand all the way up. What's creepy about the whole thing?
Oh, that's you. I'm glad.
It wasn't my dogs.
No, mine either. Mine picked up.
Yeah, they love each other. Just about this time of night, every night they start growling and playing. So, what really was creepy and interesting about the whole thing to me is just how close that Atchafalaya Swamp is. It's not far, and because that would have been the one drawback for me. But we didn't know as much then as we know now, or have learned as much. Not that we know anything at all, but when you get there and you see, it's just not that far away, and that coulee runs right through it. It's the perfect travel corridor, and I think
when you say not far, how far is it? I mean,
not even
yards
a mile
or a mile?
Not
Okay.
even a mile,
Under a
3/4 of a
mile.
mile.
Not even a mile.
That's in your backyard.
Pretty much.
And who knows how long they've been coming there. I mean, that place is it's I call it a remote subdivision. And Carl, you guys' house had been there for almost 18 years at that point, right? Or 19 years.
Yeah, I think
there weren't that many houses around when you were there, so they've probably been coming there the whole time.
Yep.
And probably visiting other houses.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but traveling that area, for could be hundreds of years for all you know.
Well, I don't know, Carrie, if you heard me talking to Daniela last week, but the same ridge that we live on, about 3 miles from here, I know a guy who hunts on that same ridge, but it's back in the swamp, and they have to actually it's about a 20-minute four-wheeler ride from their vehicles. And he came in the other day and told us a couple of us guys about a crazy encounter he had, where he said he thought it looked like a ninja, somebody dressed in a ninja suit, standing next to a huge oak tree. And that kind of caught my interest right there. And I didn't really want to say anything because I didn't want to influence the story. I just wanted him to tell exactly what he saw. Then he starts telling me about the little one that came from the other side of the ridge, ran down. And the part that I think really freaked him out was, he said this damn thing was running on 4 legs. And he said all of a sudden it's running on 2. And he says he doesn't know how it made that transition, but what it did, it came down the ridge, hit the flat spot, ran up the hill, and ran up to the big one. And as soon as it got to the big one, and he doesn't even know how to make, or what Bigfoot sound like. He did the best, impression he could. And he said, it made the weirdest noise when the little one got to it. It almost made like a wah, 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 wah sound. It almost like he was chewing the little one out. And he said he watched it for a few seconds and they just turned around, walked down the backside of the ravine. And he said he walked through the thickest thicket. And he said he doesn't know why it did that, because there were clearly 2 spots on each side that they could have walked around. That was pretty clear. But this thing went through a thicket. He said he couldn't even ride his 4-wheeler through. And he said he actually went up on the hill and kind of turned it, because he doesn't. I still don't think he really knows what he saw. And he said it looked like a tornado had went through it. And he said he could see where there were little trees, and he said there were branches just snapped off. I don't know if it did it intentionally or it just was doing that, just walking through that big thicket.
You know, anybody that has any sense, and hunters usually do, you
Mm-hmm.
have the ability to reason. And I can understand him being confused by this, but what else could it be?
Yeah.
What else could it be? Narrow it down.
Well,
Nothing. Sasquatch. That's what that is.
and the it wasn't like a scary encounter. He
I
said
get it.
the biggest thing he was scared of is that he didn't bring his gun with him. He was
Mhm.
working on his feeder, and he said, "Here's a guy dressed in all black, and I don't have a way to defend myself. I don't know what this guy's not even supposed to be here. You have to go through a gate, and you have to go a 20-minute. Yeah, it's one of those situations where you have to go past where you're hunting to get to it. You have to go through the swamp to get to the ridge because it's just too thick to go straight to it. So he's thinking, what the hell is this, a special operations guy or a SWAT team? Is somebody escaped from a prison? And and he said the thing just watched him, just stared him down the whole time. Never took his eyes off of him.
How far
Never
away?
did anything. He said he was about 40 feet from it, 40,
Oh,
40
Jesus.
to 50 feet from the damn thing.
Man, that's detail close.
Yeah, and he said he gave, for somebody not having any kind of experience with Bigfoot, he gave a great explanation. He said it looked like a guy in a black ninja suit, and he said all he could see was from right here his nose and right here his face. This is the only part he can make out. And he says he said it was, the thing was black as coal, is how he put it, and he said his eyes was black. He said you couldn't see any whites in its eyes whatsoever. So he didn't know if this is, like I said, some special operations guy, and what the hell is he doing here? Because they've been hunting there for 5 years and they never see another person. Because I don't know if you heard, what is this shell road that's a fence. Texaco had a production facility back there in the 70s. Well, they killed it and took everything off. There's a few old dead wellheads, but it just opens up to a big shell area, and that's where they park and they, get their four wheelers down and they ride to their stands.
I got
So
a pic.
nobody could fit back there.
I got a picture I want to show you that resembles exactly what you uh, described. To me, it does. And
Mm-hmm.
this is down there where we're going. While this is sending, Russell, I put you in the Odyssey Expedition.
I
area.
got the notification.
Okay.
Dude. I'll get in touch with you.
You are going though, right?
I'll get in touch with you.
Okay.
I'll explain.
Okay.
Yeah.
No
So what's
worries.
the picture you're sending?
I'm sending
Oh,
it to
sure.
myself. I'm emailing it to myself so I can put it on here. And I want to see if I got it yet.
Is it any
But
of the ones that you posted on that expedition page?
probably, yeah.
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 Those
And
are-
there's
those are-
one.
Those are
Yeah,
badass.
they're there. There's one there that looks. It's just you just see the little bit of the face, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
black everywhere else. But for those that haven't seen this, I want them to see it too. All right, I have to open it in, drop and drag. Remembering how to do this. Okay. Chrome tab.
I'll see how I can help on my end.
Is that full screen? Can you guys see it?
Hold on.
No, not
You don't
yet.
see anything?
It looks like coming up. Yeah, now I see it.
Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Yes.
You see that right there?
Yep.
I mean, and you see this right here is his hand. That's his thumb. In the next picture, he's moved. You can see his nose, heavy brow. But look,
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, it's a heavy brow too.
Mm-hmm.
and he's got his left hand. You can see this looks like his arm right here. I'm not sure, but this is another one back here. But in the next picture, this is gone, and he's turned his head and his mouth is open. Let me get the next one. Carrie, come back. I'm not very fast at this, so I apologize.
No worries, man.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm surprised I was able to put it up the way I did.
So the next one right here, and you'll be able to see the difference where he's actually turned his head. Now it doesn't look exactly the same. Can you see it?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's turned his head, mouth is open, hand is gone.
Yep.
And this has actually moved a little bit, and you can see that other face back there just a little bit. But I mean, this is 70 yards away. It's an excellent shot for 70 yards.
Is that a little white patch of hair on top of his head?
Up here? No, this right here you see is a bush that he's behind.
Okay.
There's a little bit of bush right here. It looks like there's a scar on his head. No, that's like a stick piece of bush here. But look at this apex, huge body.
Yeah.
I mean, and that face, that's a beast right there. That's a hoss. These right here are about 6 feet tall. And I think he's kneeling down a little bit, actually.
You have another one that I had seen that was really like, holy shit.
I want you to.
Yeah. I want you to show that one too.
Yeah, man.
All right.
While you said beast, I mean, that thing's a beast.
Well, that's where we're going. Where that is where we are going.
Well, you better than me.
No, I'm not.
I've
put myself in a position where I can't not go at this point.
Hey, I want you to, after you get finished with that, I want you to tell the story about when you changed your clothes and changed into all black. How my dogs reacted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Tell that story after.
Okay. All right. Let me find this picture. There it is. Get out of here. This is another one that Zasky got just the other day. He sent me this, but the last time they went out. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's up.
Yeah. Yep.
You see my cursor again or no?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There it is right there.
Yeah.
Now, this looks like awfully soft features. I think this is probably female. The one thing, now this is probably an 80-yard shot. The one thing about this is, and this is a series of frames. I've got a few more pictures where you see the eyes are closed. It looks like they're looking. It looks like they're looking that way over here. But you see this up here?
Yeah.
I think this is a little one. Now,
okay.
Mark told me, and if you get the full context, the full backed out picture, this is about 9 feet off the ground right here. So maybe it's a male. I don't know. But they have an image from when they first started. They were doing a segment video, and Melanie is recording him. And you see this thing stand up behind them. He's behind the palmettos, and he stands up, and he called it banana head. And I got that because there was something weird moving around on top of his head, and you see this face and this grimace, and he ducks right back down again. It's an incredible piece of footage. Should be proof as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. And he stopped and got to looking. It's a little one. It's on top of this thing's head. Yeah. It's just kind of hanging on.
Yeah.
I think that's the sound. I think that's just what the little ones do. They get up on top of the head so they can see too, you know.
That's kind of like the picture I have. Remember that night I was freaking out on my toilet and I called you with my shotgun loaded when I took those pictures? It looks like it's either standing up on its shoulders or on its back. The second one you see in the picture. The side view.
I remember hearing that story.
I think mom and daddy can get away faster than baby can.
Yeah.
But when Linda and I went there, okay, the dogs were nice. They weren't trying to hurt us or growl or anything like that. They were, aggressive, wanting to jump on you, get petted and all that good stuff. And they're huge dogs. But when I walked around, I had on an all black, it was an undershirt, but it was all black, long sleeve, kind of like this, but this is blue. And, when I walked around, and started to come up. I got what, maybe 40 feet, 50 feet from that back fence, and they lit up. I mean, I thought you would have thought I was, trying to break in.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that the one you're talking about?
yeah. Remember, I told you they don't like anybody dressed in dark clothing. Even the UPS guy, they give hell. You
Yeah,
know,
and they had just seen me walk around there.
right?
So yeah, apparently they've had that look before, probably something a lot bigger. And the people that live right behind you are what, in their 70s, 80s, retired,
Yeah.
never go outside, probably never look outside. My theory was that these things come in your backyard at night when it's raining, which down there is a lot of the time, especially in the summer. Because who's looking outside at night when it's raining?
Right. You're right. I mean,
Well, it also helps that they don't have a fenced-in yard too.
yeah.
Well, if you look at that print, and it was still there when we got there, that print was still there, but there was another one that was kind of faint, and it was stepping toward where the dog food was, right? And then the others, there's like 5 more in the yard, the ones that you cast.
Right.
Well, that one, I think he stopped right there because it was right parallel with the door where the door opens up. I think that's where he stopped and stood while it was raining, and it just ran off his leg down onto the concrete and made that print. And he stood there and waited. And then finally he took another step, because why aren't the other ones like that? He had to have stood there for a second to leave that print like that. In my mind, I could be 1,000% wrong, but there's a reason it's like that. And they had to know they left it. They had to know he was leaving evidence behind.
Yeah. Yeah. You always said that from day one. That
Do you think it was on purpose?
I do.
Yeah.
Carl puts up the nanny cam, and I forgot to tell him to cover the red light. And you put it up in the outdoor kitchen, right? In the window on the ledge. Comes out the next day, and it's laying on the floor.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now, the window's open. Did they throw something at it and hit it? You didn't find a rock or anything right there then, I don't think. Or did they hit it with their hands? Something knocked it in. So they knew that camera was there. There was no way, and we showed that in the documentary, there's no way that thing's fallen over, especially back when that window ledge is 6 inches. There's no way that thing was going back. And then what happened once the cameras went up? Rocks started hitting the house. Weird, strange howls and whistles. I mean, you didn't have any of that stuff before that, did you?
No. I mean, not like that. I mean, we would hear noises and bangs, and I told you the story about how I would come home and Rachel would always tell me, Carl, I think there's somebody walking around in the attic, and I'd go look, and I never saw anybody in the attic, but I never thought for once they could be on the roof or somebody could be walking on the roof. But you hear stories about that too. I mean,
well, you got the
It's weird.
outside.
You hear that a lot with Dogman stories about them going up on the roof for some reason.
I don't know.
The Bigfoot story that the guy told me on the phone, where they destroyed his house, like 3 of them, completely destroyed this guy's house. Not completely, but they messed it up pretty good. They were all over the roof. Could hear them running. And I think they were after his dogs then. I think his dogs did something to either run after a baby or whatever. But he was driving back home after going to the store and thought he saw a bear run right in front of his truck, about maybe 100 feet, just out of his headlights on all fours. He thought it was a bear, a black bear. And he was like, whoa, a damn black bear. Gets there, leaves his cell phone in the truck, doesn't see the dogs, goes to get in the house, and there's his dogs under the porch. And as soon as he gets to the door, they've beat him to the door trying to get in. And these are Scottish wolfhounds. These are massive dogs.
Those are big dogs.
Yeah. So they run inside, and he's, freaking out. What's going on? So he's dragging them into the garage through the kitchen because he didn't want to put them back out. There's a bear out there. They're obviously scared of something. So he's going to go smoke a cigarette, opens the door, and boom, smells it. Has a 12 gauge sitting right inside, grabs the 12 gauge, sitting out on the front porch looking. And he said, I thought I saw something. a shadow right there on the corner, because there was a floodlight on the other side, but it was shining enough in the front. He could still see in the front of his truck and that a little bit on that side of the house. He said, but it was tall. It didn't make any sense. And I just looked at it for a minute. Well, he heard a noise. He turns and looks over here, and he turns and looks back, and he said it was gone. He said, I got a cold chill down my spine. He said, I never really was a paranormal guy. I never believed in ghosts, didn't give Bigfoot a second thought, but I got my butt in the house really quick after that. And it wasn't, he was just coming in. The dogs were just crying to get inside the house.
Yeah.
And as he was going, he said that's when he heard it scream, and it was coming. He said it sounded like it was coming from the front porch. And he said it was just an ungodly loud howl. And it froze him in place. And then, I mean, it was all hell broke loose after that. They destroyed he had ended up, he didn't have his cell phone, left it in the truck, didn't want to go get it, sitting in the hallway with his 12 gauge and the dogs behind him. And he said he just sat there until he finally fell asleep. He don't know when he fell asleep. He woke up like 10 o'clock the next morning, all stove up, was just terrified, scared to death. And the dogs were sitting at the door waiting to be let out. So he figured the coast was clear, goes out and sees this house. There's shingles all over the place. Azalea bushes are pulled out and thrown up on the roof. There's shingles all over his truck. There's a huge handprint on the side of his house, big old 18-inch foot tracks all over the place. I mean, what other conclusion can you draw? That this is Sasquatch? But he had lived there for like 6 or 7 years and never had any trouble. I think the dogs got after a baby or something, and it pissed them off, and they wanted those dogs. And they could have gotten it. He said they could have gotten his house just like that.
Yeah.
No problem. But he moved right after that.
Well, it's amazing that they were that, like, I want to say they were vandals, but
yeah.
Why didn't they go in the house? What was the purpose? Just to prove a point? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
They put themselves at risk for something. That's odd.
Yeah, and every story I hear, if you do encounter these things, they take great lengths to run you off first. They'll break limbs, throw rocks, and none of them ever hit anybody. But and I guess if they have enough, they'll come out and encounter you like like your situation, Gary.
They tried to run me off several times, I think, crashing through the woods towards me and then stop 40 feet away. But they only ever did that when I was calling with that can call that I remember. Anyway, I remember them doing that a lot. Like I could count on it. I'd hit that and then here it comes. At least a dozen times.
But at the time, what did you think it was?
A buck.
Okay.
Which is totally and completely out of a buck's character to do. But I've got buck fever.
Yeah.
I'm hitting a doe bleed. I'm thinking this thing's pissed off because this doe is not coming to him. This was my reasoning. But bucks don't pop limbs and shake the ground coming at you. They may get mad and hook on something, but they're not going to make a noise like that. And I just thought, this buck is just beating me. He is just so, and look, I hunted. I didn't just sit in the damn tree stand and wait for him. I scouted that place when it wasn't deer season, looking for bedding areas. Where are they? I can remember crawling on my belly through thicket with my rifle in front of me, military style, Marine style, just to get in a position where I thought they might be coming through, up high, but I wanted to be quiet and not let anything hear me get in there. And the boogers saw me doing all that stuff. So I think
they laughed their asses off.
Probably so. I think they left me alone for long enough. I was probably a good bit of entertainment for them because I would talk to myself. I would. And when I would hear things like loud thumps on the ground, I would hear talking behind me and yell. Yeah. That was to me. I was interacting with them. That's why some of the things that we did, I think they thought I knew they were there anyway. So what's the big deal of coming out now? Maybe.
Yeah.
It was, there was something that made them do that.
Yeah, you cross the line somewhere, or something.
You
You
can
got
do it.
But
There's a
maybe
level.
too close to a
there's
young one.
also just the possibility that he was just passing through. Isn't
Yeah,
there?
that is a possibility. But the fact that all the other things happened, I
Yeah.
think they
Well,
were
that's
there.
leads. Yeah.
I think they were there. I think he was young. He wasn't huge. He was bigger than me, but he wasn't massive, 8 foot tall, 1,000 pound dude. He was good 450, 500 pound, just like Big Show, the wrestler, built just like that, without a neck. His head sitting
Yeah.
down here like that.
Dude, I I walked up on Big Show once after a wrestling match. My friend, I went with a friend, and she knew where they were staying at the hotel, so we went to the bar and hung out with these guys. And you're a big guy, I'm a big guy. You walk up on someone that big, and I just was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's not just because the taller you get, the wider you get.
Mhm.
It's not, you don't just get taller and thinner or something. That's a big person.
Yeah, he weighs 500 pounds. He's
At
a massive.
seven what? 7'2"?
I think he's 7 foot even, right? 7 foot
I
tall,
think he's
500
7'2".
pounds. Is he 7'2"? I don't
He's a
know.
big boy.
He is.
Tall
He's a big
boy.
old guy. He there was what was that guy that played for and One Escalade? He died. Not it was Mark Jackson's brother. He was like 6'10", 500 pounds, and could move for a big guy. But kind of like that. You ever see the Freeman footage?
Yeah.
Kind of like that, only not that big, not that
Mhm.
tall. Yeah, just not muscled up, muscled, but not like ripped Schwarzenegger style.
And that's what has me, man, just baffled about how smooth and how fast these things can operate. I mean, most of these people who see these things in the woods, go out and research and stuff. Man, if they want you, they got you.
Oh yeah,
I mean, at any point, you're not gonna outrun one. I mean, there's no way. I mean,
that was the one thing I'd never considered until I started looking into the subject. Was that if he wanted me, see, I thought for a long time that my shotgun is what saved me. He knew what it
Yeah.
was. He knew it was not good, that shotgun wasn't good. And that was why he didn't come any closer than he did. And if he wanted me, he would have snuck up on me and got me. They could have got me 1,000,000 times
well,
without a doubt.
here I am, my dumb ass is asking you, when we all this got started, Carrie, can they open the door? Well, no. All they have to do is rip the door off the hinges.
Yeah, just
I mean, they don't
walk
have
right
to
through
open
it.
the door. I mean,
There's definitely a level of tolerance, a level of restraint, probably completely and totally indifferent to us outside of whatever danger we pose to them, is how I see it. And probably the only reason they pay us any attention is because we are potentially dangerous to them. Anything that scares us we're a danger to.
yeah.
Those things scare us.
Well, think about it.
But we also
We're
outnumber them too. So they know that.
Yeah,
we're probably the only predator that they have. I mean, we have guns. I mean, we can shoot one, and I mean, who else is except maybe a grizzly bear can take one of these things on? I mean, a little black bear is not going to do it. I mean,
but even then, who knows how powerful these things are? We know how powerful a grizzly bear is. They're pretty strong, but they don't. Their range of motion is not anything like a primate,
right?
With upper body strength, they have a lot of weight and a lot of power. Yeah, but a primate's range of motion is whatever wingspan is. You would think it would have to be, and we had some guys on tonight, Cryptid Studies Institute, and he said something about a rifle, and a rifle's not going to do anything to him. I just don't believe that. I didn't want to say that then, but high-powered rifle, you can kill an elephant with a high-powered rifle.
Sure.
If the shot's placed well enough and get complete full pass through on it. I don't think a Sasquatch will survive a high-powered rifle shot in the right spot. Shoot them in the heart, shoot them in the head. You know, they're going to die. I think it's happened before. I just do.
Oh yeah.
It has to have happened before. I can guarantee you, if I would have had my rifle that day, I would have shot that thing right between the eyes. Ain't no doubt in my mind. If he would have got a lot closer, I'd have shot him with a shotgun.
But here's the thing. Okay, you shooting at one, but how many you didn't see?
Sure, but I didn't know that.
Right.
Something told me, though. Something kept telling me. I kept looking to my left, and I remember that vividly. I kept looking right where I was sitting.
Mm-hmm.
I'd gotten into that clear, and it was a good 30 feet to the thicket there. And I just kept looking over there. This was after he was already gone. I'm walking away.
Yeah. Well, like I told you many times before, I was like, you're lucky that they let you hunt on that land and stay on that land and kill that many deer, you know, over the years.
Not till the turkeys. Didn't do a thing about the deer. That's why I kind of think they don't really care about deer that much. You know, you can't live off of it, just deer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to eat something else. But I've heard 2 stories of them taking the gut piles.
So Ray has a question. Are there any stories of them actually entering a house? I've heard about a barn, but not a home.
I've heard of several that tried to.
That
Getting in the windows, putting their arm through the window. But I don't know. You got to think if one got into somebody's house. Listen to the Ruby Creek incident. That one went in the house. It went in the house, and it also went in the shed. Picked up a full 55-gallon barrel of salted fish and completely demolished it. It had hit its head, apparently, because the guy found hair and it was like a 7-foot beam there, and there were actual hair and footprints everywhere. The boy saw it coming and told his mama there's a cow coming down the fence line. And she looks up and sees this thing coming, just walking blatant, and it's massively huge. Well, she's got 3 kids. So she runs inside real quick, or tells the boy run inside and get a blanket, and gets the blanket and is hiding them while they run down to the creek and then go to the next village. The guy comes home. He finds carnage all over the place, and he found his tracks of his family where they went, and he finally hooked up with them. You got to listen to that. It's on the Shutter, Ruby Creek.
Hilton Whittlewood. Mogs, are you getting any good guests on tonight? You're funny, Hilton.
Thanks a lot, man.
It's all a joke, dude. You don't watch the show enough.
No, I really don't have time to watch anybody's stuff.
No,
I happen to have time to do it tonight.
Me neither.
I have a lot of fun people in chat that like to
Hilton's a hoot. I love having him.
Yeah.
He needs to be back on sometime soon. Happened to Brenda Harris. You see that? Sawdust Beast put up there.
Yeah, I don't. Well, wasn't there a report of somebody when they were young said one of them came into his house and it must have been sick or something was wrong with it. It was almost like it was drunk. It came into the house while the family was eating, and the family just left, and it just rummaged through the cabinets and tore everything up and took some food and left. But it said it almost like it was, I want to say, had a stroke, or it was like disoriented, or they could tell it was something.
Was that a Hispanic family?
I think so.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
What in the world was that?
I don't recall hearing that one.
I don't know. I didn't hear or see anything.
That was weird. Sounded like somebody knocking.
God, don't say that.
Look, there's something here in this house.
Really?
I've seen it a few times.
Oh, yeah. You told me about that.
Linda has experiences with it all the time. We were just sitting watching TV and heard something in Daniel's bedroom, which is right in the center of the hall. It's like 20 feet away, and his door was open. It sounded like the door creaking open, and that door doesn't move. So it was just weird. It was weird. Yeah. But stuff happens like that here all the time. I've seen that thing several times.
How old is your house?
built in 95. It's huge. It's 3,100 square feet. You know, this
Big home.
is my little study here, and that door you see back there is the sunroom, and that goes all the way through into our bedroom, and then this goes down into the kitchen, and then it goes back up into the garage and up into the it's built down in the ground, and it's 14 foot. So it's a huge house, and it's kind of creepy sometimes. Linda's run into it. She said she ran into it one day in the hall, and then it just kind of dissipated and went away. But I thought Hunter was. I was so convinced somebody walked across that hall one day, that hallway door, that I went looking. I thought Hunter was home, and I just knew I was here by myself. But I saw legs move, like, and because it wasn't completely out of the corner of my eye. It was like right there out of the corner. You know, just I could see the walking motion. It was that vivid but dark. So yeah, there's something here. Linda says every time I bring it up, she says, "Leave her alone." Well, no,
Don't instigate.
I'll promise. I will. She thinks it's her. She thinks it's the woman that owned this house before us. She died. She didn't die here, but she passed away, and
That's who she thinks. Attached to the house. That's a good possibility.
Yeah.
Very good possibility.
History of the land too. I mean, we, since we started looking at all this, we found out all kind of stuff. We always knew it was an old plantation, and we live on a ridge, which is basically an old earthquake fault. But now we found out there was actually a Civil War little battle fought here. So
you never know.
Who knows?
So we get into ghost territory now. I'll be creeped out. Won't be able to sleep.
See, that's like my stories are ghost stories.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me when it happens to somebody else, but when it's here, and I.
You know what? It doesn't bother me at all. I welcome it. I'm so into the paranormal. Like,
if I knew what it was, it probably wouldn't bother me so much, but I don't.
The history, I think I told you this when you came. The history of that little apartment in my backyard was my dad lived there with us for 10 years after my mom passed away. And he had a stroke. So he wasn't, he didn't have all his faculties. So many times in the morning, he would come inside and say, "Who was banging on my door at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning? What do y'all want? What did y'all want?" Like, Dad, nobody was banging on your door. And we just wrote it off as, it's the stroke talking, we didn't. But I always heard that they're attracted to people like that with mental disabilities or autistic people or, and the lady behind me, she has dementia, the older couple. So I don't know. He might have been telling the truth all along,
Maybe they're just that much closer to being able to see through that veil,
Didn't they recently ask you if you were still seeing things back there, Carl?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we do. I have.
No, but the neighbor asked you recently, didn't they? If
Oh,
you were
it was
still seeing things?
Yes.
Yeah.
The neighbor. Yeah, she came over one day and she asked, just out the blue, she said, "Let me ask y'all something. Are y'all still seeing and hearing weird things?" We said, "Yes." Why? "Oh, I don't know. I'm just asking." So, and I kind of pushed her on. I said, "Well, Donna, if you saw something, just go ahead and tell us, because we're not going to think you're crazy." "Oh, no, I didn't see anything." But yet her dog won't even come out at night to use the bathroom. So he must have saw something, or something spooked him so bad that he won't even come out at night. So I just thought it was weird that she came out and just asked us that, out of the blue.
This that older lady?
Well, no, it's the one right on the side of me.
Yellow
she's
house?
a little bit older than me.
The yellow house?
Yeah, right on the corner right here.
Corner.
Yep.
Have they seen anything?
I couldn't get anything out of her. You know, I was
Man,
like,
I wish you could just go and interview some of those people. You know, that fence line, that long wooden fence line,
mm-hmm.
that's at night, anything could run down that thing and not
Oh
get
yeah.
easily.
And,
But the people that lived on the other side down there, on the, if you're looking out your back door when you get to that fence line to the right,
mm-hmm.
that's easy pickings.
Oh yeah.
There's no fence to get over to go into
You
their
know,
backyard.
and I think people have a misconception, like, you know, they have to come like 6, 7 blocks to get to my house, but no, the field and the coulee's right there.
Right there.
I mean, you have to cross one street and that's it. And they could easily crawl and nobody would ever see them. Because like you said, who's outside at night looking around just watching for people crawling on the ground? You know, I mean, it's
even if you did see somebody from a distance, I mean, something even like that from a distance, what are you going to think at night? Somebody. Big deal.
Dressed in black.
Yeah.
I mean,
like a ninja.
You wouldn't, you wouldn't know what they were dressed in. If it was, you know, from a distance, even in especially at night, like there, it's not that lit up back there.
No, it's pretty dark.
Lit up in the front a lot more than it is back there. I think
yeah.
that's why they probably still came there.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie Perez says, "Carrie, you look a little freaked out."
I'm all right, Stephanie. You know, very little in this world actually scares me. You know, I don't really care for Sasquatch too much. Ghosts, I don't think they could barely bother me, hurt me. You know, if it bothered me that much, I wouldn't live here. I just don't. I don't like not knowing what it is exactly.
Have you ever experienced anything like move or doors close, rattling, nothing like, you know, or is it just that those quick visuals?
I think we heard the door creak tonight.
Okay.
Earlier, well, that's what it had to be. That's what it sounded like, was a creaking door. And that door doesn't move. There's no wind in here. You know, even, you know, the heater's on, but there's no, it's not like something that ever happens. That just doesn't happen. And we were just sitting there watching TV, and I guess a commercial or whatever, the TV wasn't up, and we heard it, and I looked at them. I was like, what in the world was that? And we all looked up there. Interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's very interesting.
It's fascinating. It's just, you know, it's just another rabbit hole. You know?
Yeah, and you can get sucked down easy. Well, you know, I said this the other night, and I'm sure Carrie will agree with me. I think the majority of people aren't prepared to see one of these things.
Nope.
Because it'll turn your mind upside down.
Not ready. Not emotionally.
No. Because people, the one I saw back here running that day, people asked me what I saw, and I just got tired. You know what I tell them? I saw a 7-foot tall caveman running. That's how I explained it.
You remember the day we were there and I just stuck the camera down under that?
Yes.
And we went back and looked, and there was something in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like it was something squatting right toward the back edge.
Yep.
Because you could see the daylight through on the other side, and you could see this looks like a figure, right? And I said, Carl, go back down there and look, man. Take a picture and send it to me. And you sent it to me, and there wasn't a damn thing in there.
No. And I still, you know, and I kept pushing you on it. I was like, Carrie, go look at that video again. Go, because I didn't want to tell you at first, but that I had saw one running, and it ran into that damn pipe. And I'm watching that video again. I said, I think Carrie's got one on video, leaning, kind of squatting down, leaning against that pipe.
It's on that episode 7. It's on that episode.
Yes,
it's in there.
Yes. Now I don't know if it's a juvenile or if it's a full-grown one or what, but there's something leaning against that pipe. And I saw one run in that pipe. So, I mean,
if we would have had the wherewithal, somebody could have got on the other side, could have got on the inside with a light or whatever, and had beautiful, perfect evidence.
Yes.
But I did not want to go in there.
No, me neither.
It was big enough. It's big enough for me to go in also. It's big. It's like 5 feet tall. It's a 60-inch culvert that goes under the road. And as soon as you're under that road, you're in a thicket going through.
And think about it. That would be a perfect way to travel. Because I'm sure they run all over through here.
Well, that coulee's 10, 12 feet deep, 20
Yeah.
feet wide in places. You go through at night, nobody's going to see you. And it's running water, so your tracks are gone immediately.
Yeah.
If you ever do try to find any tracks. But what got me was all the turtle shells.
Yes.
Which
That was
just,
weird.
just like a turtle walked right out of it.
Yeah. I've never seen that before in my life.
How far was that from your house?
Right there.
Here in the right next to the coulee. Okay. And we're not talking about little bitty turtles now. We're talking about pretty good size, snapping turtles.
Snapping turtles.
Somebody just took them by the neck and just ripped them out.
Just a shell.
Yep. And look, the shell is perfect, intact, doesn't have a mark on it. And how many did we find? Linda and Rachel found more than we
11,
did.
like 11. I think it was 11. Wow. But that's just what we found, because they were all in this one little spot. Like they just got grabbed, sat there, was looking, watching people and having a snack. That's kind of the vision I had in my head of it. And I was trying to imagine in my head what's the direction that anything can go to get behind your house and not be seen. And there's several. Mm-hmm. There's several places, because that one house on the end is right by the coulee. So that, to me, they can go all the way down to that corner, come up, hit that house, right off the back, and all the way to your house. Yeah, which is only about 150 yards away.
Well, me and you could do it, so I don't know why they couldn't.
Or go straight across the field, 75 yards to that fence, and go right down it and not be seen at all.
Mm-hmm. And where we found that little blind, I'm going to call it a little blind, that little, where those twigs were weaved up against that tree. Yeah. You remember we looked down and you can see perfectly down that street.
So many interesting things. I saw impressions. When I looked over the fence first time, I could see there were impressions. It wasn't like full foot tracks, but it's in the grass. There's definitely impressions in there.
Well, so. Now there's a clearly worn path, and the guy doesn't have dogs because his backyard is wide open, so something has been walking back there and making a trail.
Oh, I think they're messing with you at this point.
Yeah,
absolutely, having them a good old time. What is that? What is that? What is that whistle? What is that damn whistle?
I finally got the damn whistle recorded, the metallic whistle. So when somebody asks me, what do you mean by that metallic whistle, I can play it for them and say, this is what I mean right here.
Strange. It's like a hum whistle, high pitched. The dogs just go nuts, when it happens, which I can imagine. It's almost like it's like a UFO landing, except it's a whistle.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
And it has that metallic. That's the only way I can explain it. It has that metallic quality to it, metal sounding. Like the old metal whistle you used to blow when you. It doesn't sound like that, but you know how that kind of reverberates. That metal. That's kind of what it sounds like.
When you first hear it, you're like, "That's a horse whinny," but it keeps going, and it's a lot higher pitched. That's that sound. You've heard a horse whinny.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that in the distance, only a lot more high pitched and it's continuous. Wow. That's how weird it is.
And I've heard that from several people. They're in the middle of the woods and they could have swore a horse was coming. But there's no horse.
Never ever heard anything like that before in my life. Never.
Me
in
neither.
The woods. And I've heard things out there on my lease at night that I felt like were red wolves, because I've seen red wolves out there. I've seen wolf tracks. I've heard the howls, coyotes for sure. Coyotes can make some sounds you wouldn't think a coyote can make. A fox can make sounds you would not believe.
Yeah.
Especially a female calling a male or whatever, if she's in heat, it's pretty damn unnerving. But they yip all the time. I've heard fox yip out there all the time. I've heard them imitate them too. Sound like a dude. Sound like a dude doing it. Just like the owl. Sound like a dude.
And the bobcat. I mean, a bobcat sounds like a woman screaming. I mean,
bobcats make some awful noises too. Cougars. But so you can tell bobcats and cougars because there's that growl in there at the end. You know, you can really tell. But when I talked to those people that were around that area and talking about screams that they'd never heard before, but they wouldn't get on camera. They would never. I asked him, I was like, will you tell us a story on camera? No. But they hear the knocking all the time still and the weird scream.
Jake's like, cat got the mogs. I'm just listening. I'm not doing much talking. That's why he said that. It's funny.
Well, I'm about to jump off so you guys can have back at it.
Well,
I appreciate you having me on here, by the way.
No, thanks for popping on, man. I always, enjoy you coming on.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
When I have time, I enjoy coming on here for sure. I'm working on this episode all day tomorrow, trying to get it episode 13 done so you guys can have that.
Looking forward to it. Definitely
it's very involved and so interesting to me. It is. So, but appreciate you, Carl. Good to see you.
Yeah.
We got to come down there and do part 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right.
Terry, thank you very much.
Take me away.
All right.
You're gone. So yeah, it's always nice to see Kerry pop in.
Yeah, in this case, he was here. I mean, he stayed.
That's the thing. That's why I was I was all ears. I just wanted to hear because I know he was there and he saw all this, and I didn't know about the turtle shells.
Oh, really?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but like, not that there were 11 of them. I mean, damn, and so close to the house.
Yeah. Let me go back to a question because I saw what was it, Ray Daw was asking. What I did the other night is I just put my camera up. Now that I can do it on on the StreamYard, I could just put my camera up and I left it running all night. And everybody says they call it a burp, but it's more like a growl burp, like a really, really raspy burp. And everybody's actually, did you burp? And like, no, I didn't burp. I mean, I've got the camera running. Any audio you hear, and now she's telling me she heard samurai chatter, which is not unusual. I have that recorded several times. And yes, I did. Just to answer her question, yes, I went back and listened to everything that everybody pointed out, and yeah, I hear the same things y'all did, and we hear them pretty often. I mean, same things you're hearing, that's what we hear. Well,
right on. Anybody in chat has questions, feel free to ask. I want to say hi to Robin Ward, Christy, Sci-Fi. What's going on?
Christy.
Good to see you. Yeah.
I freaked Christy out the other night. She was telling a story about on one of their investigations, and she made this sound, and I just happened to have that sound recorded from one of our videos. Bigfoot Tony did the enhancement on the audio, and I said, Christy, is this what you heard? And I played it, and I'm telling you, man, she freaking blew a gasket. She was like, it all came back to her.
I think she told me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to do that. I want to.
No, but it shows. I mean, that reaction was genuine.
Yes.
And it was to trigger that memory.
Well, I kind of felt bad after I did it. I was like, damn, I didn't know it was gonna, cause that kind of reaction. But now, yeah, I can understand it. Going through what we're going through. If somebody plays something for that. Like that for me, and I hear this same thing in my backyard. I mean, it's too close to home, If you're out in the middle of the woods and you hear something like that, that's different.
You can't get much closer to home.
No. I mean, it's 35 feet from the back of my house to the fence.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's pretty close, you know.
Sure. Let me just
Like I said,
scroll down.
if I'm in my backyard and one of these things ever decide to jump the fence, which I don't go in my backyard at night anymore, just for that reason. If one of these damn things jump the fence, man, and start coming out, I can't even get into this house before they can catch me. As fast as I saw that thing moving, I mean, it was like probably can run 3 times fast. And I was doing 30 miles an hour in my vehicle. And like I said, if that thing wouldn't have dipped into that culvert, I'd have hit it. It would have ran out across the road, and I'd have hit it dead on.
Yeah, I have to agree with Carrie. I think they're just messing with you.
Probably so.
You know, what else they got to do?
Nothing.
You
Stay free.
know, I'm just saying. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't claim to know anything about them, but they, you know, you keep hearing we are their entertainment. So
Well, and it's almost like trivial kid stuff, like mischief.
yeah,
Throwing rocks and hitting shit and grunting and just like everybody says, well, they want you to come outside. Well, good luck with that because I'm not coming outside. You know.
yeah. But I think that's why they would slap houses. You know,
Yeah.
you'd hear stories of them slapping houses or cabins or something, and I think it was to get people to come outside.
Yeah. You know what's weird about that is people say that they know what room they're in and that's inside the house to slap the wall. It's almost like they can hear you breathing or hear your heartbeat or something, or can sense where you're at in the house.
Hmm. I don't know how they do that.
I have no idea. I really don't.
Rex Goodrum says, Mogs, are you still doing a Christmas Eve show? Yes, I am. Like I said when I first came on tonight, yeah, we're just gonna hang out and I don't know, put some Christmas music on and just anybody wants to come on and hang out, feel free. But yeah, we'll be there Christmas Eve. Sorry.
Well, I see somebody's telling me to go outside. Well, he says go outside preceded by your gun barrel
Barrel
first.
first. That's
Yeah,
Pappy.
well,
What's up, Pappy? Good to see you.
I would, to be honest, I would never point a gun at one because I think they understand what a gun is.
Oh, they most certainly do know what a gun
And
is.
it's like these people who go do these hollers and knock on trees and stuff in the woods. Okay, what does that mean to them?
But that's why it's stupid to go and do that shit.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
No,
You could be ringing a dinner bell.
exactly. Or,
You
or
know?
or challenging them. Say, hey, big boy, I want to take your woman from you. I mean,
Robin Ward wants to know, did you save the turtle shells?
no, but they're probably still there because some of them are not in the cooler where they can get washed away. Some of them are up on top by
On the
the
bank.
trees. I mean, no, I actually thought about taking one because one of them they had a big one. I could have put some clear coating on it or something and put it in my you know in my
Man
little
cave.
man cave.
No, that's a good conversation piece,
Well,
And
yeah, I
and then
mean,
and then give your theory behind it. That's cool.
I still don't know because if it was an alligator, it'd be ripped to shreds.
Yeah, it would have broke the shell.
Yeah, and
You're not going to find 11 turtles ripped out of their shell just to show.
yes,
They were pulled out. It's not an alligator.
no, it would have chomped it to bits.
This is TFV says take a chair and sit just outside your door and speak. Tell them the rules in a firm, even tone. They'll get it.
Well, they might, but then again, they also might get me. So I feel pretty safe in here watching on my camera. It's like if I hear a
Well, you know
noise,
what? But you have such an
man,
interesting opportunity
yeah. I mean,
to if you wanted to go a little further, if you weren't as, what's the word? There's chances for interactions there, but
hmm
I know you don't want to really get into that, but it's an interesting opportunity you
right.
have in front of you.
Well, and I really, people say they choose you. You don't choose them. I mean, so they get like almost attracted to somebody, and uh, for some reason, I don't know if it's us or our dogs. Because our dogs, we have videos where it looks like they're feeding them. I mean, throwing stuff through the trees, and then my dog goes over and sniffs it and eats it. I don't know if they're taking crawfish from the pond or coulee or whatever,
Huh.
and maybe trying to hush the dogs up. But I
Bribing.
have one really weird video where both of my dogs run to the fence, not barking, which is strange, and they're just sitting there and they're just like fascinated, like they're just watching something. And a guy did a kind of like a enhancement on it, and when he reversed the polarity on it, it almost turns it like into an infrared picture, and you can see something behind a fence about 7 8 foot tall, just standing there in a bush, and you hear something come through the leaves, hit the ground. My dog walks over, sniffs it, and eats it.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
it sounds like they're trying to bribe your dogs.
and
Or they're just having fun with them. Who knows? I mean,
yeah,
I heard a story recently where woman was going to she was part of a dog rescue operation, and they found these dogs at this like farm, but they were canvassing the farm,
hmm
this where they were breeding these fighting dogs, and she witnessed a Bigfoot feeding the dogs. All these dogs were chained up. There was nobody around,
hmm
and this thing was feeding the dogs. I don't remember where I heard it. I know that somebody in chat will know it. um,
I wouldn't doubt it.
yeah, it
You,
was weird.
you hear some stories about them killing dogs, but for some reason, it seems like they're okay with female dogs, which both of mine are female. I don't know if if it's a male aggressive dogs that they kill, or
I don't know. Maybe it's just the dog. I
right.
don't know. Just like there's, I would say bad humans. There's bad dogs. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I couldn't. Maybe they kill them because they give them away. You know.
yeah, yep. That's a good
See,
point.
Duke just said they don't like loud and aggressive dogs.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like I said, that on that one video, it's really crazy. It's they run up to the fence, and it could be me on the other side of the fence, like they're just looking like just fascinated, or they know this person or whoever, whatever it is, on the other side of the fence. Because usually, if my neighbor, we just had two bad hurricanes come through here a couple of months ago. Some guys were working on a roof, and the guy put the ladder up on the roof, and when he got on top of the roof, I guess my dog at their level could see him right over the fence. I guess my dog thought he was coming in our yard, and she went totally ape shit. And these guys are jumping up on the roof, and I guess they were scared that dog was gonna come over the fence, and she could if she wanted to, because she's huge. She weighs 150 pounds, and
Damn.
yeah, she's a huge dog.
That's a beast. That's like
Yes.
twice my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I saw Ben had a question. Where did it go? I scrolled up too far and now I have to go look for it again. Oh, here it is. Do you ever feel the fear that is reported so much?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you about one incident I had. I was laying in bed one night about 11:30, and I just got this weird feeling, like this overwhelming feeling to go outside, like you need to go outside. And I fought it. I fought it, and it was almost like overpowering because I'm scared. I don't even want to go in my backyard at night. So I finally went. I went. And Carrie had told me, he said, whatever you do, just don't change your routine. Don't let them know that you're on to them. So I said, well, I'm just going to go out there and act like I'm feeding my dogs because that's a normal routine. So I go out there and I put a few scoops in the bowl. And as I'm walking in, I had my phone in my hand and I had the camera reversed and I had the flash off. And I could feel something in that corner by that apartment where we found the dead animals and stuff. It's almost like the old saying, you can feel somebody staring at you, and that's what I felt. So I just happened to take 3 or 4 pictures, and as I was walking inside and came in and started blowing them up, and that's where I sent them to Carrie. And I thought it was only one, but Carrie said, "No, I think it's 2 of them." And the feeling I got from it was not really scary, but almost, and it's like that one. I swear it was a female, and I don't know nothing. That's just a feeling I have. It was a female.
I just had a brain fart. I was like, I was going to say something and it went in one side, not the other.
Yeah.
Oh, about the dogs. About the dogs, you said they were just like looking up, sitting there looking up to something on the other side of the fence. Central Florida Bigfoot sounds as if they were waiting for a treat.
Might have been. Yeah.
So
exactly.
okay.
Like it's almost like they knew, or like I said, it would have been me standing on the other side of the fence. I mean, they're not
they were that comfortable with that.
Right. And
thing.
I just told you the story about the guys working on the roof. They see these guys get up on the roof and they go ape shit.
Sure.
Want to eat them alive. And I guess because to them it looked like they were coming in the yard, but they were just getting on the roof for 4 guys, and they were scared. So
I'm just blowing through. You gotta forgive me because I just always going through chat trying to find questions.
no, go ahead. I mean, that's cool. I'll try to find that picture, the one I took, with the 2, whatever the hell they are.
Christy says, "Hey Moog, it probably was a female. I need to come out there and feel it myself."
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's just the impression I got. Just the feeling I got from this thing. Or whatever it was in that corner.
Ben wants to know: do you think they can predict what you're gonna do ever?
I don't know if they can predict what we do, but I think they can read intent. If you have bad intentions, you have a gun, and you thinking about shooting one, I think they can feel that or sense that.
Christy, I'll tell you the same exact thing. They know your intent.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, don't go into the woods with bad intent because
right,
it's not gonna turn out well.
Well, look, let me show you the picture that I took,
Right on.
and I swear this is a female. I don't know why. I don't know if you can see it,
Hold on. Bring
but
this up. Let me see.
that is a female. I'm sorry. I just and that's a little bird feeder on the right that we would come out every night and it would be empty. And that was the one with the screw on top, which has about 5 threads on it that you really have to screw down. And every morning we come out, the top would be on the ground, the bird feeder would be on the ground, and no seeds in it whatsoever. And Rachel thought, it was the squirrels getting in the bird feeders. But we were actually feeding them. I mean, we were feeding them dog food, bird seeds. So we didn't know any better.
Yeah,
I mean,
now that you stopped doing it, I mean, once you realize, hey, wait a minute, there's something going on here, they kind of, it's almost, gifting or feeding by accident. They were stealing it, but they kind of got reliant on it. That's a slippery slope.
And people always ask me, say, well, why do you think these things are coming to your house? I don't. I think they're coming to everybody's house and maybe taking a little bit here, taking a little bit there. But we're the only ones that are clued in on what's going on.
Yeah, they're just being opportunists.
Right.
It's a good possibility.
So, no, I don't think they're just coming to my house. I think they're coming to a lot of people's houses, and they just don't know the signs, or like because we did. I mean, we had no idea what the hell was going on with this stuff. I mean,
Raphael, let's see, Raphael, I should say. Oops, not that one. I have a question for LA Swamp Ape. Do you think the shadow figure is a separate entity or the Sasquatch transformed?
in that howling video, I think it's a Sasquatch. I think people talk about them cloaking, because if you go watch that you can watch a normal video and you can pretty much see it. But when that guy does enhancement on it, he reverses the polarity on it. When that thing starts howling, you see a shimmer of light. Then right in the same spot next to the tree, you just see this black mass just kind of show up and just dissipate. And it wasn't cold, so it wasn't the ground, giving off heat or whatever, or fog, or how the ground does sometimes when it's been warm and it's
Sure.
It turns cold. So there's something on there. I don't know what it is, but there's something on there. Not to mention the howl, and when the thing starts howling, the swing starts moving, and my dog takes off when they first hear it. She takes off towards the fence, growling and barking, and all of a sudden she just stops in her tracks, puts her tail between her legs, and just walks back. And I've never seen her do that before.
No, it's a dog has to be really scared.
Yes.
Like to put their tail between their legs. I mean,
Yeah.
I've witnessed my dog. It happened to my shepherd. She was approached by 2 pit bulls, and she knew when to back out, and the one pit bull wouldn't let her back out, and her tail was between her legs, and finally she got away. But
right,
they have to be really scared.
And the yipping you hear on the video is my smaller dog underneath the patio. When that thing starts howling, I don't know if it's hurting her ears or she's just scared. She starts, yipping. That's the only time I've ever heard her do that. And they were scared. I mean, you can watch the video. They're scared.
Real quick, Stephanie, good night. Thank you. See you Thursday. Sorry.
No, you good?
Yeah, there's dogs don't react that way unless there's a threat.
Right.
To
several.
them.
Yeah. Well, I think she knew she was up against something that was way bigger than her, and she couldn't even think about controlling.
Yeah.
'Cause, several dog, I'm gonna say experts or who know dog behavior says that that dog's not acting normal. And I said, well, I wouldn't either. I mean, if that was, and during that howling video, we watched the whole thing take place. Now we couldn't see anything because it was pitch black, but it woke us up. So I run to my bedroom window. I'm watching out the window. Like I said, I can't see anything, but I hear this thing howling, and the glass in the window is rattling, and it feels like something's like thumping me in the chest. And
Is it howling from the fence?
from the fence.
Holy
Yes.
shit.
Well, it was either behind the fence or, like I said, that's the video where I think it's cloaked. It could have been in the damn yard. And now people say that they see a small one in the tree. Maybe it got freaked out and thought the dogs were going after the little one. They say they see a little one in a tree, but like I said the other night, I never have seen the little one in the tree that people are talking about. But people swear they see a small one in the tree. So maybe they were in my backyard and my dogs, took off after it, and the big one, I guess, started howling. And now this is all speculation. I have no idea what the hell was going on in that video, but it's strange as hell. I mean,
I'll have to go back and check out. I've seen a lot of your videos actually, but some of these don't ring a bell.
well,
Like this one, the howling video. I'll have to go back and check that out.
it if Well, if you're not subscribed, it's the first video that pops up. But if you subscribe to my channel, you're gonna have to go look for it, I think. But it's just called Bigfoot Howl question mark. Because we don't know. And a lot of people say, well, that was a coyote, and this was this, and this was that. But I'm gonna tell you,
Coyote's not going to rattle your windows.
no. It is. I'll tell you how big my dog is. A
Yeah.
coyote is not that big, maybe
No,
40
we have them
pounds.
here.
Yeah, and the lung capacity that this thing has to have to make either a swing move and rattle a window. I mean, it must have been given off some kind of sound waves or something to do that.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
it's an acoustic resonance or whatever you want to
right.
call it. That will affect objects. It's a
Yeah.
sound wave.
Don't know if it's infrasound, like people
Mer-
say, but
Meredith says, "I'm glad to hear they are nice to your dogs. I hear too many horrifying stories."
yeah.
And you do.
Well, and after we found out what was going on or what we think is going on, we started bringing them in every night, because we can't take a chance, when I'm reaching over that fence. And we have a video where I think one of them got touched because my dog just goes berserk. She's next to the fence, and she's up looking, and she kind of goes out of frame in the dark, and all of a sudden she just goes ape shit for no reason. Just starts yelping and running, but she goes right back to where she was.
That's weird.
Yes.
So what the hell?
I don't know.
How did she immediately go back to where she
Yeah,
was? Or
she
that's
starts.
weird, man.
Yeah, she starts yelping like she's hurt, and then all of a sudden, she comes to the middle of the yard, turns around, and the other dog's still standing right there, and she just goes right back, like kind of like she just got freaked out. And I think maybe one of them reached over the fence and touched her or something. I don't know.
Robin Ward asks, Carl, do you have a dog whistle? Think if they wake you up, if you can use it to tell them to stop.
Yeah, I do have a dog whistle. Uh, I never tried it before. I mean, when they, at night but my dogs don't even listen to it. I mean, so I mean, but they're good dogs. I mean, I call them. They listen. They're not, and that's the thing. They're not barkers. Like they won't bark. Some dogs will howl at sirens, police sirens, or bark, or if they see an airplane flying by, they'll bark or whatever. Mine don't do that. If they're barking for a reason. You know.
Yeah, my shepherd barks at the neighbor's dogs.
Hmm.
Anybody comes in the yard, she's barking. Uh, what else? Yeah, she's protective of the yard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if a crow or we have more ravens here. If a raven lands in one of the trees in the backyard, she goes nuts.
Yeah.
She just starts barking at it, or any big bird like a hawk or anything.
Well, and if and a vet told me this, actually a girl I went to school with, because I played that video for her and showed it to her, and she said, well, a dog like our dogs, German shepherds, they don't recognize a coyote as a coyote.
It's a
It's just
dog.
another dog to them.
Yeah.
So if there was a coyote in my yard, you'd have saw a hell of a scrap, and we'd have had it all on video. But my dog takes off towards that fence and just stops dead and just looks back and just puts her tail between her legs and just limps back.
Hmm. Yeah, that's an unusual reaction.
Yes.
Okay, Robin. I mean, hold on. Let's see. Robin says, "No, I mean use it on the visitors when they wake you.
Oh,
Stay,
the,
say no, go away, and blow a silent dog whistle." Okay.
well, yeah, I guess I
It's
could,
it's
but
it's
then,
conditioning. It's trying to condition them to
yeah.
you know react to a dog whistle to knock your shit off.
Well, and people have suggested in the past, try this, put up mirrors, put up more cameras and stuff like that, and which are great ideas. But what people don't understand is I have to live here. So what if I go and put mirrors up and they go ape shit, and they're throwing rocks now? What if they start throwing trees? I mean, you don't know how they're gonna react. I mean,
Sure,
they're unpredictable.
well, just like
So
you said, they noticed, or you feel they noticed when you move the dog kennel 2 feet. It's
right,
kind of, it's like it's almost an OCD
yes.
or yeah type thing.
I'd go one step further. I think they have a damn like photographic memory, because if they see something one day and they come back the next day, and I'll even give you my theory on that. I think at one time they may have lived here, and they still consider this their land or their property. So if you make a change to it they don't like, they're gonna let you know about it.
Absolutely, it's just
Like,
like it's sort of like haunted houses. People buy these houses, and once they start to remodel,
mm-hmm.
shit hits the fan.
Yep. I
Uh,
heard that a lot.
yeah. Um, yeah. I it's just I don't have that. I'm not. I have to go out and I have to go to them or put myself in a situation where they can come to me. I
Right.
should say. I don't have the opportunity for like what you have going on.
Yeah.
But I was, it's kind of, I have the same theory about what you guys were talking about. You call them coolies here; they're washes, you know.
Mhm.
And I think they're perfect highways out here. There's washes that you would never know that you were there. Like you drive down the highway between here and Sedona, and there's this one wash that all you see is level land. But when you get to a certain point, you see a hole in the ground that goes for like miles. That's 15 feet deep.
Right.
It's a wash, but it's just
Yeah.
like strange. And you wouldn't see anything in that thing.
No, I mean, what they are is back in the 50s, they dug these things be, because we were below sea level here in Louisiana, and when it rains, you got to get the water out of here. So they dug these things back in the 50s, so they kind of take on a life of their own. I mean, it's actually pretty. I mean, trees have grown up, and they kind of make their own little turns and stuff like that, and it's kind of like a little ravine, and
Sure. And it's runoff water. It's when it rains. That's where it runs off.
When the water in the swamp gets high, it drains and it comes out and it ends up in the Gulf of Mexico. That's where it actually ends up. So, yeah.
I'm not used to headphones.
Yeah.
Like cans, they bother my ears. But for some reason, with this microphone, I bought a new microphone. If I don't have the headphones, I get a feedback.
You see, now the other day I was talking to Daniela on a show, and I had my headphones on. I had to take them off because I was getting feedback. So
Well, I thought maybe the microphone was picking up a little bit from the headphones, so I just turned the headphone volume down.
And let me tell you something else that why I always point, and look, the Native Americans always refer to these creatures as a race of people. And I lean that way too. I think it's some type of race of people that maybe cavemen that they thought went extinct, but really didn't. Let me tell you what was going on before we even found the footprint and stuff. So I would go in my backyard and I would find these little sticks stuck in the ground. And I always just assumed my dogs were playing with them and, chewing on them, whatever, or they fell off the tree and they just happened to land. It was like 4 or 5 little sticks in a row. And I would pick them up. So one night I'll go out there and I see the sticks are there again. And I'm like, well, I need to pick them up. I don't want my dogs to poke their eye out or whatever. Sure. And I just noticed when I was picking them up that those sticks, on one side of it was dark, and on the other side, you're in the light. So it was almost like a boundary, like, don't go past these sticks, because if you go past these sticks, you're going to be in the light. Now, does a bear have that type of thinking? Or, that's, and we don't have any rocks around in our yard or our neighbors. There's no rocks around here. And it's actually little hunks of concrete that they get out the coulee. And I have several of them that I found that hit the house. So for them to pick up a rock and say, I'm going to throw at this guy's house to get him to come out or see where the dogs are, if the dog's out, that's intent. That's thinking.
Oh, absolutely. But they're also bringing rock from, it's not like they're picking it up from your neighbor's yard. They're bringing it in. They're importing it.
Right. They're bringing these rocks in.
There it is. Squatching Cowboy asks, what would you do if you found a dead one?
What in my backyard?
Or anywhere.
Oh, really? in anywhere.
If you came across a dead Sasquatch, what would you do? I don't know.
I would do. I would take samples. I would cut something off.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. But I want to know how long it's been there. I mean, if it's been there a while, and what else is around?
Exactly. Well, that would be my first thought. Okay, one's here is one garden.
Where's the other
watching
one?
them. Yeah. But if I did find one and there was nobody around or in my backyard, I would try to get some kind of sample,
absolutely.
Like a hunk of skin or something, like cut off an ear or a finger or something like that. It sounds gruesome, but I mean,
the head.
Yeah, I think I would actually do it. Just to have something concrete that you could test and.
Yeah, no, that would I would do the same exact thing. I would something's coming
Hmm.
with me. Central Florida says, "Yo, oh, Mogs, is that the Yeti mic?" You know what, dude? I have the Yeti mic, but it I dropped it and it stopped working. But this is the it's made by Blue, just as you know, it's the Blue Snowball Ice something. It works good, but it is a Blue, just like the Yeti. I kind of missed the Yeti because it had like a gain control. It had volume control for because would plug the headphones directly into the microphone, so I could hear myself talk through the headphones. With these, I can't. So, but it's a good mic. Actually, I just saw who the hell Richie Giordano over on Goof On. He has the same mic sitting right in front. His is white. Okay, I knew this was going to come up, so we might as well get. Oh, I hear my dog
What?
barking.
Yeah.
Anything happened after the AR-15 shots fired the other night?
Nope.
Hold on
We
one
can't.
second, Carl. You tell them. You answer them. Talk to them.
No, we can't get an answer from anybody. Didn't make the news. Uh, the police aren't saying anything. And me and my wife have a daycare, and there's a couple. She's a police officer. He's a police officer. So she asked her today, "Hey, what happened to the 911 report that I called in?" And when she called in, somebody else said, "Well, we already got a report on it." Okay, so she said, "Well, what happened? What's the outcome?" And she said, "Well, I was off duty. Let me check." So she texts her back a little later, and she says, "Well, there is no 911 call." So like it never even happened, which we have a record of it. We screenshotted it, and where she called 911 and talked to somebody, but they're saying there was no 911 uh, call that came in that night. Now, what's going on with that? I have no idea. You know,
See, that doesn't
nobody.
make sense, dude.
No,
Because I mean, Rachel has it on her phone. Oh, 911.
exactly.
Yeah, I called it, so I have
Yes,
a record of it. Why don't you?
and all that is public information.
Yeah.
So like I said the other night, if we have if somebody just fires a gun in the air on the bad side of town and doesn't even hit anything, that's making the news. Shots were fired, nobody was injured or hurt, but that's a news story. Here you have what sound like Vietnam going on. No sirens, no ambulance. Because when you dial 911, everybody comes. Ambulance, fire department, police department. Nobody came. We kept listening for sirens.
Hell, if you hang up on 911, they will call you back. Like if you dial 911 and it goes through when you hang up, they'll call you right back.
Yeah, they have to. They have
Yeah, I
to
mean,
have a record of that. And now she says no. I checked, and there was no 911 call that came in that night, which is bullshit because I know Rachel called. I heard the conversation, and we have a record of it on her phone log. And they're saying no. Well, the official explanation is it was fireworks. That's the storyline. It was fireworks. You just go listen to it and tell me if that's fireworks.
does anybody like do those? That's crazy. It's
Yeah.
obviously not fireworks. There's
No.
no way in fucking hell that's
No.
fireworks.
Not at all.
That's crazy. Megan, Megan Richardson is in chat, and she puts up these crazy ass questions that are funny as fuck half the time, or most of the time, I should say.
Go ahead.
Okay, question. Awesome, Mogs. You had another drunk coon ass telling Squatch stories after dark. Has LA Swamp Ape ever seen a midget Squatch like tattoo on Fantasy Island? How old are you, Megan? You look young in that picture.
No, I haven't. But a guy who came in last week, I told you the story about, has seen one. Now I don't know if it was a midget or just a juvenile, but he saw one running up to meet the big ninja on the side of the tree. So, and I'm not drunk. I don't even
No,
drink.
I didn't. It wasn't an insult, dude. It's just
No.
you gotta understand. You know, she's not trying to be insulting at all. She
Well,
just comes up with this crazy shit.
the coon ass part doesn't even bother me because I'll own that. Look, I love living in Louisiana. I mean, look, we have our own food, we have our own language. I mean, there's no place like it. So that's not an insult to me. I mean,
Christy knows I want to come down and check things out, and Ben's in Louisiana as well. I want to come down there because he said his mom can cook, so I'm like, I'm there.
Yeah. Right.
Fireworks don't sound like that, says Yancey. No, they don't.
No. I mean, if you want, I can play it again, just to give everybody who didn't hear it. If you want to, I can play it again. It's your show.
Dude. If you want to pull it up, yeah, we'll throw it up.
Yeah,
I'm not going to make like another 30 minutes on this though.
No.
I want to hear. We're gonna play this, guys, just so you guys know. This is not fireworks.
Yeah, and I won't even play the enhanced version. I'll play the one right off the server, the one we made the clip of, because that's plenty good enough. I had just boosted the audio because I wanted to hear what the neighbors were saying.
You can hear them talking?
Oh yeah, you can hear them talking. Yeah,
like I said, I heard you telling Danielle about it, but I didn't hear it with my headphones, so I didn't hear the enhanced or just.
Well, let me bring it up and I'll kind of explain what's going on.
Sure.
Let's see. Let me share it now. I got to share it and the audio so you can hear it. Yeah, you'll be able to hear the wife. She's gonna say, "Terry, did you hear that?" And he's gonna say, "Oh my God." And they acknowledge the second shots too. So let me bring it up. Let me get it. And there's nothing to see.
All right, let me bring that up.
Okay, you can see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go ahead and play it because you ought to be able to hear the audio because I shared it. Let's go. It's like 30 seconds in.
One, two, three, coming up.
Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, it's not fireworks.
No,
it's friggin' stupid.
If that's fireworks, I'll let you stand on the corner on Main Street and give you 10 minutes to draw a crowd, and I'll kiss your ass in public if that's fireworks.
Kim says, what comes into 911 can be orated, however the officer decides it needs to be. Now, Kim is my sister, and she was a dispatcher for many years.
Mm-hmm.
She did fire and police. So yeah, she kind of has a little.
So, okay, if she's familiar with that, anytime a police officer fires a weapon, right? They have to, like we said, fill out a report, even if they hit anything and the reason why they fired their weapon. Because we hear a second round of shots 30 minutes later, 3 shots to be exact, and it's coming from a pistol, which I'll tell you about the one cop who came here. That's the one that took off in front of the neighborhood and went down by the pond by the coulee, and then 30 minutes later you hear the other shots. Now that sounds like a pistol to me. This sounds like an AR-15 or
Yeah, that's automatic fire.
yeah. That's I mean
even this horse has been beat.
yeah. I mean
and it's
yeah.
definitely for anybody to say it's fireworks is stupid. Did you have a question about that as far as wait a minute. Okay, Kim said not fireworks, but we already know that.
Well, and shit like that doesn't happen around here. I mean, like I said, on the other side of town, yeah. But and you shooting a high powered gun like that around the neighborhood, like I said, number one, you better make damn sure you're hitting what you're shooting, and there's no telling where these bullets can go if you miss. I mean, it can
Sure.
come through this brick house right here and kill me.
And ricochets have been known to do that.
Right.
Yeah, Ozzy says I heard 7 shots in that little clip. Yeah, there is 7, and there's 7. It's 2 groups. There's 7 and there's 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's those 3 shots later from 30 minutes later, because I didn't hear the 3 shots the second time, like this time.
Oh, that's a whole different clip.
Yeah. Well, we are at the 2-hour mark. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
And I have to get up again at 4, and it's 10 o'clock here. Yeah. If anybody has any other questions, now's a good time to get them out there. Yeah, right. Somebody just says with houses that close together. Oh, Cryptidville said with houses that close together, that get you a wanton endangerment charge.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions. So yeah, I'm good for tonight. That was a great show, though. I'm Carl. Thank you so much for coming on.
Okay.
I've been looking forward to talking to you for a long time. I just didn't expect you to be on so many shows this week. I was just like,
I know.
every time I turn around, it was great, though. I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad you're getting that exposure.
Well,
that's cool, though. I mean, that's a freaky situation to hear those gunshots and everything. I mean,
right, yeah.
And to catch it on camera, that's special. What's special is the part that they're friggin' just denying it. That's like very special.
Or worse, insulting us by saying it was fireworks. Everybody just go back to sleep. I mean,
No. Well, you got the proof. So if you ever came up to it, you could be like, "Here you go."
Yep.
Fireworks.
Nope.
All right. So yeah, man. Thanks again, and we'll get you back on in the future. My door is always open to anybody that wants to come on. That's the thing. I don't just make guests. Book guests. Anybody can come on. So yeah, man. We'll talk soon. I'm going to put you backstage. If you want to hang out or you just want to bounce, it's up to you. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody.
Okay.
And if you want to say goodnight to chat, now's the time.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. I see a lot of familiar. I'm sorry I didn't answer any questions. I know a lot of people acknowledged me, but it's hard to hold a conversation and answer the chat. It really is difficult.
Yeah, it's hard to follow chat and run a show and try to give you questions to answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't trade anything. This is awesome.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad we get to hang out and explore these, topics, and sharing stories like that is just it's awesome. So,
Right.
all right, I will. Like I said, I'm gonna put you backstage. If you're gonna hang out, I'll be there in a minute. And if not, well, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to everybody.
I keep
Everybody stay
forgetting it's
safe.
Christmas. All right. Well, guys, let me. Where did this go? I want to thank everybody tonight. You guys were awesome with questions. Thanks to my moderators. I'm sorry in the beginning, I was kind of rude and I just jumped into the show and I didn't, um, acknowledge chat like I normally do. And I know I missed a lot of people. Kathy, great to see you. Hi, Jenny, Ozzy. But yeah, this Thursday, Christmas Eve, I will be on. And I hope you guys come and join me because it's just, I'm not going to plan a guest. I think, we'll get somebody to come on. You guys can pop on or whatever. We'll throw on some tunes, some Christmas carols or Christmas music, and we'll just hang out. I think it'll be cool. I know there's a lot of people who are dealing with shit right now, and maybe they just need a place, on Christmas Eve. I know I do. All right. Anyway, thank you guys again, and I'll see you Thursday. Mods, you guys are awesome. You guys rock. All right. Stephanie left, but I want to say welcome to the family as a mod. All right, guys. I'm gonna say goodnight, and I'll see you soon. Peace and God bless.